We've heard some interesting stories about why couples don't have children. One of the most revealing ones come from a young priest who was talking to a couple who was sitting in a BMW coupe that didn't have a back seat. And he asked them about children. And they looked at their seatless back and said, "No room." And that pretty much summarizes some of the feelings today. And without going into a lot of details on what we can do to fix the problem, let me offer just a couple quick suggestions. One is a story, an example from every 2 years a couple of coupling at the convention. Last year there were 250 couples at the convention. Of the 250 couples, one had and most of these couples are younger than we. They're just starting their families. Of the 250 couple, one had a son who was ordained a priest. 4 other ones had sons in the seminary. And those are that's 5 out of 250. That's not including the additional ones that we know of that have gone into formation since then. That's 1 in 50. For some strange reason, there's a link between couples following the church teaching in this area and the vocation problem in the United States. So, I ask you to infiltrate your seminaries and the convents with your sons and daughters. There's another area with regard to this infiltration, and I look back there at the seminarians over there, and that is to bring the seminarians, bring the young priests into your home. Show them what a happy home is. I know several priests have told me. Monsignor William Smith recited the statistic that 95% of his marriage counseling his counseling problems are problem marriages. Of those, almost all of them are couples who are contracepting. All they see is the negative side of it. Show the priests and the seminarians the positive side of it. Invite them into your homes. Show them what it is like to do that. There are several other things, but they all go down to the idea that we can't sit here in this conference and soak it all in and not do anything about it. We have to go out and do something about it. And as Jerry said, that Bishop Sheen is one of our favorites. And one of the stories that he tells that stuck with us the most is a story of a lawyer who had died in Berlin. And he was a non-believer, and he had a Catholic law partner. And that when the non-believer was ill, the Catholic law partner went to his bedside and said, "Now that you're about to die, don't you think it's time you make peace with God?" And the dying partner said to him, "If Christ and your church has meant so little to you during your life that you never once spoke to me about it, how can it mean anything to me at my death?" I think it's time that we start now. We start spreading the good news of Humanae Vitae. And everybody says, well, the priest can't do it, or the priest won't do it, or the bishop won't do it, and this group won't do it. We should just take it into our own hands, and in our homes, which are the little churches of the world, begin spreading it among ourselves and our families. And who knows, it may be contagious, and the whole church might catch on.